All right. Well, let's go ahead and get started. Thank you for being here. Tanya and I are gonna treat this as like we're just chit-chatting back and forth and about and but feel free to put in the chat any questions or feedback that you have. Just reminders, this is being recorded. You are hidden except for Tanya and I. However, if you unmute and start chatting, your beautiful face will be on this recording. So, um, yeah. So today we're gonna be talking about. There are a lot of myths when it comes to perimenopause and menopause, but we're just going to tackle a few of the ones that we feel that we keep hearing a lot. And we can dive deeper into these in Age with Grace, which again we'll chat about at the end. Some exciting new develops in that challenge. Gotta stop calling it challenge group. So, but I'm gonna let Tanya kick it off with her myth that she's going to debunk today.
Debunk. Yeah, there's so much information out there. And hats off to my friend Jen. I need to like pat her on the back, little atta girl. She is a menopause specialist.
Oh,
She has
cute.
just completed this beautiful certification. I'm enjoying learning with her and from her, and I've been doing my own research as well. One of the books we'll be using in our group in January is called The Menopause Brain. So it's been enlightening, y'all. So my first myth is menopause is only affecting my body. Menopause is only affecting my body. And you may be among the brave few that coast into menopause with no symptoms at all. I've heard of that happening. I'm very jealous if that is you. But menopause brain is a real thing. So many of us, this is called the hot flash. So many of us know that hot flashes and changes, in our cycles, mood, that sort of thing, are affected. Those things happen, within our body. But did you know, if you haven't experienced already, menopause brain is a real thing. It is a real concept. You may have noticed memory issues, forgetfulness, trouble with like recalling names and details and dates, difficulty concentrating. We have slower cognitive processing, and we're going to talk about that more in January, why that is. There's science, real science behind it, which is fascinating. You may have noticed some fogginess, sluggishness, word retrieval problems, trying to find the right word. I'm laughing because this just happened to me last week. I'm like, what is that word for that thing? Yeah, you're not alone. Decreased ability to multitask. I felt like that was something I was doing a really great job at, maybe in my 20s and 30s. There's also science behind that. After we have babies, we actually go into almost a super mom brain mode, which is fascinating. In perimenopause, our brains are actually changing and shrinking, y'all, but there is hope. There is hope. You may notice low energy, low libido. All those things can originate in the brain. They obviously have a lot to do with hormones, but menopause is not just of the body or in your body, it is also in your brain. So we're going to talk about that. There is hope, and I'll talk about that when we come to my next myth. There is hope coming out of perimenopause into menopause when your brain actually is doing this beautiful new thing. So we'll talk about that in just a little bit. All right. How about you, Jen? Menopause specialist, my friend.
Yeah, nothing like hearing that your brain is shrinking. That's some great news. But also kind of encouraging that you're not losing it, ladies. It's a thing. So grace for that. So my myth is I'm going to debunk hormone therapy is dangerous. This is probably the number one question I get more than how do I treat hot flashes and all this stuff. So there has been this controversy back in the early 2000s when they started studying the hormonal therapy, menopause. You'll hear menopause, hormonal therapy, or replacement therapy type thing, and I got a lot of women scared, saying that it's a risk of breast cancer, heart disease, and stroke. However, about 20 years later, it came out in that study that the women that were being tested for that specific replacement therapy, hormonal replacement therapy, these women were postmenopausal. The age range was from 63 to 79, and these women also had other health risks involved. So it wasn't a real accurate study. And so now more research has come out that the Menopause Society is stating that if you are younger than 60 and within 10 years of menopause, of starting menopause, that menopause hormonal therapy is generally a safe option. However, you always need to check with your healthcare provider first before doing any of this. So it's no longer this, oh, I'm going to get this. It's a risk. They have debunked that. It was a pretty faulty study. So that is a question that we get often. But however, we always are going to encourage you, please talk to your healthcare provider before taking or doing anything. So that is my myth debunk. That's my first one, Tanya. What you got?
Debunked. I love that. And also, tagging on to that, as a woman who has breast cancer in her family, part of that was, oh my gosh, if you have a history of breast cancer in your family, you definitely cannot do any kind of hormone replacement therapy. And that is not true anymore either. Again, that is something I've discussed with my um, internal medicine doctor, but that kind of piggybacks onto that if you have family history. Of course, a lot of things go into that. So
Yeah.
relying on our medical specialist is a good thing as well.
Yeah.
Okay, so my next myth is it's the end. Menopause is the end. I remember way back when, and I wish my mom were still here that I could talk to her about these. She passed away last year, but I remember, when I would try to talk to her about it, any books or any material related to it showed like, dead trees on the front of the book, or, it's just like everything's ending, right? But there is kind of a new term now that is used in this book, The Menopause Brain, is called menostart. So rather than menopause, menostart. So thinking of our lives as a restart. And there was American anthropologist named Margaret Mead who coined the term menopausal zest. Okay, I'm waiting on that. That sounds wonderful to me. It is a rush of physical and psychological energy some women experience after menopause. You may not have the energy you had as a teenager, but you may find yourself pondering new beginnings, maybe a new career, new relationships, new interests, new places to travel, to go, renewed health, and self-care practices, and an all-around refresh as to how you channel your time and energy. I love that. I love that. So not thinking about menopause as the end of something, but reframing. And we talked about intention in our last podcast, our last hot flash, thinking about this as being a new start to things. So we're going to reframe that. We're going to do that in January together. I'm super excited about that. Menostart, new term, y'all.
And what was the other term? Menozest?
Menopausal zest. The menostart this is from the book Menopause Brain by Lisa Mosconi. She's a PhD. And it's so fascinating. But menopausal zest came from an American anthropologist named Margaret Mead. I'm like, sign me. I know, give me the zest. I
I
love
know,
that.
I saw that.
Give me the zest. Give me all that. But a renewed energy. And as a new grandma, I can tell you that like your focus changes. You've got new things. As someone who launched into like a new career change during my perimenopausal years, I can see that there's a little glimmer of that. So yeah, kudos to Miss Mead. So I love that. So menostart, menopausal zest. Sign me up for all the things. So it is not the end. It is not the end.
I love it. I love it. There's hope. And it just kind of, yeah, new seasons. You know me. I love new things. I'm like, it's a new season. There's hope.
Always.
Gotta be.
Always hope. Yeah.
Yep. So this one, my myth, I'm gonna bust. It's gonna take me a couple of minutes. I'm sorry. It's just too much to condense. I am gonna dive deeper into this in the Age with Grace. But Tanya used the word intentional, and that's the word I'm coming back to for this one. So my myth is there's nothing can be done to manage these symptoms. You just have to deal with it. Um, I'm just like that. Isn't that just like, ugh? When I read that, I'm like, that's so frustrating to me because there are things that we can do that will help lessen. Not all women are going to experience all the symptoms, or Tiny and I may experience different ones. Not, doesn't mean just because so and so has it, you're going to have it. But let's say you do, you get, the anxiety, the stress, Um, there are things that are true. Bone density is decreasing, muscle loss, all those things. And hormones are on a roller coaster. Like we're back in puberty again. We're like, what the heck? I was talking to somebody the other day and she's like, what is this? I got a pimple. What is happening? I'm like 45. I'm like, I know. What is going on? But there is hope. But I'm going to go back to that word intentional because again, the things that we've been doing, you may be seeing they're not working, or the things that we've been eating that our body has been like metabolizing really well, and all of a sudden it's just not. Things are shifting. So I'm going to talk about, and I know people are probably, Jen, stop talking about it, but I just can't. It's the top two things. It's strength training and nutrition. There are other things that we're going to be talking about in Age with Grace, like stress management, sleep, all of that. But I want to focus on these two because these are so huge. So, strength training, and again, I'm going to go into that more with Age with Grace and how, but it will help with fighting against osteoporosis. So, the more of that progressive overload, higher intensity workout, compound movement has been researched and studied with women who do these type of workouts, that the muscle density, I'm not muscle, sorry, the bone density is increasing. This is even with women who have history of osteoporosis in their family. They didn't get osteoporosis. They actually, their bone density was getting stronger. So strength training will help with one thing that we tend to lose is that bone loss. So sorry, I have a teenager texting me and it's flying through my computer right now. I'm like, what's happening at school? So I feel like a little squirrel. Give me a second here. It also, strength training will increase your metabolism and reduce body fat. So during this time, we tend to gain weight in our belly and become insulin resistant. So by lifting heavy, stressing your muscles, this will increase your lean muscle mass. And since your lean muscle mass burns fat, you will even burn fat while you're resting. So that's why we always like up those weights, ladies. It also will boost your testosterone and growth hormone to reduce the belly fat, and it reverses the aging process. The average woman loses a third of muscle mass between ages 35 to 80. Strength training reverses this. Every decade after 30 years old, muscle mass decreases approximately 3 to 8%, and the decline is higher after 60. However, instead of being afraid of bulking up, be afraid of losing muscle. So, strength training will increase that lean muscle mass to help you, um, you know, not lose it, obviously, but also it's going to pull against that bone while you're working out and make that bone stronger. It's really fascinating how God creates the body. So that's strength training. It also will help with other things. We all know when we move our bodies, it decreases that anxiety and depression, helps us get out of our head. So, and that anxiety and depression just is rampant during this time of life. It just shoots straight up. So, nutrition, real quick, I'm not going to go into the how or what, but nutritional interventions have proven to be tools for managing mood and anxiety symptoms. So, not eating enough is number one. So, a lot of women, when they start to see the shift in their bodies, they're like, "Oh my word, I gotta limit what I eat." And okay, yeah, we don't want to be gluttonous, but at this time, you want to make sure that you're eating enough of good protein, fiber, carbohydrates, vegetables, like a diet, a yo-yo diet type style that maybe you've been doing throughout your life. That is the worst thing you can do during this season. Also, overdoing processed foods, sugar, and alcohol will wreak havoc on your hormones, which are already on a roller coaster. Basically, it's a disaster. So I'm not saying this is sugar and alcohol and processed foods is a no for the rest of your life. They need to be limited. So typically during this season, because our anxiety and our depression is rising, what do we want to run to? Wine and chocolate, right? These are the worst things to run to when we're stressed, because it will go into this more in Age with Grace, but your body is just not metabolizing it well. It is just, I would say you need to limit it, make sure that you are eating good, whole, nutritious foods to fuel your body. things like high fiber, high protein diet will also help with that anti-inflammatory that you've been feeling in your body, which also is on the rise during this time of the year. But basically, like if and other things that we need to incorporate, but the food and the strength training, if anything, focus on those two first. And this will help you in your 40s, 50s, and 60s. So it is not, I'm debunking that myth that nothing can be done. You just have to deal with it. We just need to be intentional. We just need to tweak a few things. So,
Yeah, and I want to add too, like it's never too early to start that. Like I wish I'd known this, and I mean, I don't know when I would have had time, but in my 20s and 30s, like that's really good information to have going into the season. And then also like thinking about the populations, Jen, of our classes, like it's never too late to start. Like it's
right.
never too late to pick up some weights, to
Mm-hmm.
start lifting, to increase, the amount that you can lift or press. I mean, it's so cool. So there's always hope and there's always the next best step.
Yeah, so there's a book that I want to share with you ladies real quick, or anybody watching. Give me 1 second. I think it's right here. So it's called Age. Oh, a little blurry. It's a little blurry. Age. Just pretend you can read it. It's called Age Strong. And it's a woman's guide to feeling athletic and fit after 40. So this lady has done research and worked with women in perimenopause and menopause for like at least 30, 20 to 30 years, something like that. And she always says it's never too late to start, that she has women coming in because of perimenopause and menopause, like what is going on, not really in a workout routine, not really eating well, and how her workouts, which we're going to be doing in that group, um, have helped them, and they've seen the results. They've seen the improvement and encouragement. So the other thing too, when you said that, it reminded me. There's a sweet lady. I was thinking about this the other day. A lady in my seat class. She's in her 70s. I want to say at 75. I'm her first group fitness class that she has ever taken. And
Wow.
she is there, and when I mean, she's there most of the time and she's doing great. Like, I just thought, yeah, you're never too old. You're never too far gone to try new things. And she's doing an amazing job. So, anyway, yeah, thanks for that feedback. Remind me of that sweet lady.
That's awesome. Yeah, I have a couple ladies in my one of my classes locally that have some special considerations, things going on within their bodies, and they asked me, "Are you sure it's okay we do yoga in a chair?
Yeah.
Is it okay that we practice standing balance, holding onto the chair? Are you sure it's all right?" And I'm like, actually, your form is better for doing that. And it's just so cool to see people find that freedom, trying a new thing, especially as being a Christ-centered yoga instructor, like that being like a new thing that they're trying in a new season
Mm-hmm.
and using all the props you have to make sure you're doing it safely and well. So that's so cool. I love that. I love this. I think that's probably one of the main reasons we're instructors, right? There's just those little stories.
Yeah. And yes, stories and just encouraging people like we're doing now. Do you have another myth you can debunk?
Those were my two for today. I just, man, I wished, like I said, I just wish someone would have told me, oh, well, menopause, well, that's something I'm going to deal with in my 50s and 60s. Like, I guess another myth would be it's too early to start thinking about that or preparing for that. You could start doing that. Because I thought too, I mean, really before I met Jen and really before I started strength training with a coach and a group, that, okay, if I lift weights, I'm going to bulk and I don't want to do that. I'm going to gain weight, whatever. But yeah, just knowing it's not the end. It's not just in your body. It is in your brain also, but it's okay to start early. It's okay to start preparing for this as you're, in your, childbearing, child rearing years. Things are full anyway, but good to be thinking about these things. I wish somebody would have told me these things.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you?
Yeah, I mean, I have lots of things that I want to talk about, but I'm gonna save it for that group because it's just it could be. I mean, my training was forever, so there's just a lot of stuff, a lot of good stuff. I do want to talk about before we do our hot flash question. I hope, do you have one for me?
Yeah, I've got one.
Okay, good. I do want to just share about Age with Grace. The signups are open, and so the signups will be or the challenge group will start January 13th. And Tanya, you know me, I forget stuff. We're in menopause, peri-menopause, so I won't forget things. But I have it written out, so I'm going to try to stick to what's going on. Anyway, we are really excited about this. Share with your friends, share on your social media, because I feel like we've gotten feedback already. Like, I've been waiting for this, like, this is hopeful. So, in this group, you will have a follow along live clickable calendar with workouts and a workout log. We are going to encourage you to, wherever you are starting your foundation with strength training, we want you writing it down. How did you do? How was your time? The dumbbells, blah, 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 the weight, all of that, because we want you to see the progression. So we have been working behind the scenes creating new content for you, things like mobility, yoga, new yoga for this season, strength training, obviously, some HIIT workouts in there for all levels, and also, challenging and encouraging you to log it and see that growth. I love writing it down. It helps me, it encourages me, like, oh, I can up this a little bit now. Look how I'm getting stronger. We have a menopause meal plan. This is optional, but it is going to be designed and catered for us in this season to get that high fiber, high protein. And in this, we're also going to give you 2 live Zoom workshops. One is going to be about batch cooking, where you guys in the group are invited to join me. I will send you the recipes and the ingredients, and we're gonna prep for the next week. So I'll be cooking, and you'll be cooking with me in this group. It's kind of I did this with somebody. It was fun. It takes like the blah out of it, and I'll show you how to batch cook for the next week. The other live Zoom workshop will be healthy snacks on the go, and again, it'll be interactive. You'll be getting the recipes, and we can make them together. If you can't make it at the time, it's fine. It will be saved, and you can cook along with me later on the saved recording. The other thing is we are going to have hot flash workshops like this, but we're going to go deeper into topics such as sleep. Um, all, like, we would love to hear from you too. I have some ideas of what I feel is needed to be, that we need to chat about. But if you guys like, hey, what about this? Put it in the comments. But like sleep, how to manage your hormones, all kinds of good stuff. Like basically what we're talking about today and some other things, but going into a deeper dive. We are going to work through, you guys we'll have a schedule reading. Try softer. I never know how to say her name, Tanya. Is it Andi? Anyway,
Don't know
this
either.
we'll have it. Kim is going to have it, the reading schedule, but I will share this. It's I don't want to say it's in depth, but it's going to ask some questions that I feel that it's going to take some time to pause and reflect. So I'm not going to say, if you're not keeping up with the reading, shame, shame, shame on you. If God has you in that reading a little bit longer in those questions, just sit with it, because I I feel that this book goes hand in hand with what we're talking about. She's just encouraging us to try a softer way. Like, a lot of us tend to strive or keep going, push through. And again, that is the worst thing to do during this time of life. Like, what does it mean to be kind, be softer to your body and your mind? And it's really, really good. So that's the latest on that group, but feel free, sign up, because there will be a deadline to enter into that group, so we can make sure that you guys are getting all the things that you need to set you up for success. Tanya, do you have anything you want to add to that?
No, I mean, this just came out of a coffee conversation, right? During the time you were doing your training. I'm just so tickled to be a part of this and to learn and grow right along with you. I've learned a lot in the last few years. I'm looking forward to doing this together in, a small group format, a little more intimate. And like Jenn said, taking a deeper dive week by week into specific topics. So
Yeah.
what we're kind of giving you is the bird's eye view, for the past couple of sessions, but this will be like a deeper dive into each one of those things. And these are so important: sleep, nutrition, weightlifting, being kind to our bodies as we go through this stage and place together. Yeah, I'm excited.
Me too. Me too. So sign up, everyone. Sign up. We want to do this with you. Don't make us do it alone. Do you have a hot flash question for me as we wrap up our time together?
So mine are always about food. Like last time I asked you, what is your favorite lunch? Today, when you mentioned like menopause snacks, what is your favorite like menopause friendly munchie? What's your favorite menopause friendly snack?
Oh man, matcha energy balls.
Ooh,
They are
that
really
sounds,
good.
that
I
sounds
just saw them again. I need to make them again. It's from, do I even have the book with me? I don't. Rise, Run, Repeat. They have 3 cookbooks, and I'm obsessed with the recipes in there. They are so good. And she has this matcha energy ball that is just the
ooh,
best. I put them in the freezer. I hide them. Jeremy found them and was like, "What is this?" Like, no. So they are so good. If you guys want that, I might put that in the menu plan. But that sounds good to you. Let me know, and I'll stick that in our menu plan.
for sure. That sounds delicious.
Yeah, it's so good, so good.
Yay.
So it's like
Okay.
a great snack, but feels like a treat at the same time.
Yeah, yeah, that's good.
All good ingredients too.
All right, what you got for me?
All right, my hot flash question is to you. So when your anxiety, when you feel that, what is your number one go-to? To not wine or sugar. I know we want to do that, but what is one thing that you do to kind of calm yourself down?
Yeah, I do find when things do feel really tense, I have noticed with keeping I don't keep a food log all the time, but I do track my protein. But I notice what I want I crave sugar. Like I want a little bit of sugar, that little energy boost, that little dopamine hit, right? But that's not super healthy, right? So I have to focus on my breathing. I know this sounds like I practice what I preach, but I take a hand to my heart and I tell you guys this in class, hand to your heart, hand to your belly, just kind of wrap it around your midsection and just breathe. And just notice your hands rising and falling. Notice your belly pressing that hand away because I notice when I'm tense, I'm stressed, I'm not breathing. I'm probably just barely taking enough breath to keep moving, right? But to really move into belly breathing. And there's this power of 5 to 10 deep breaths where it actually just settles our bodies. And that's kind of my go-to. I mean, I have to remember, I'm like, okay, what do I enjoy teaching other women to do? Ways to like naturally calm your body. So breathing. And we'll be talking about that too with our menopause friendly workouts and our mobility and everything too. But just breathing, taking a deep breath together, breath prayers. Um, my go-to is inhaling, I can do all things. Exhale through Christ who gives me strength. And that just kind of paces me through the next needful thing in my life.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so good. Yeah, and that's what I love about this combination, the mind, body, and soul during this season, because like God's bigger than menopause. He's bigger than our anxiety, and just there's
Yeah.
simple things just to implement in our life, like just breathe, and
Breathe.
remind
Yeah.
ourselves that He's with us. He will empower us. He will calm us. He will help us. That's good. So, well, thank you. And thanks everyone for being here. I'm reading some comments. Yeah, give me the zest. Thankful for the women I have to learn and lean into in this season. Oh, we're thankful for you, friend.
Yeah.
I love teaching what I'm learning. So this is just honestly, I went through a certification and I'm the nerd. I actually was in another class last on Saturday, and I told my husband I'm the only one asking questions and talking. I just felt like the biggest nerd. I love it, and I love sharing it with you guys because it's just I feel that there's some good stuff out there to help us. So, all
Absolutely.
right, if you haven't signed up, go sign up. Share on your social media. Share with a friend. January 13th. It's only 4 weeks, and we are packing a lot in those 4 weeks to give to you. So thanks for being here. Thank you, Tanya.
Thank you, Jen. Bye,
Bye.
y'all.
Bye, Heather. Bye, Kim. Bye, Miss Pauline.